Thank you for joining us for Game 3, a battle of the top 2 Academy teams. It's Dignitas versus Cloud9. Let's take a look at those starting rosters. Selecting blue side, it is Cloud9 Academy. In the top lane to Fudge, the jungle Inori, mid lane Palafox, bot and support King and Diamond, and their coach Rainova.
Facing them on the red side, it's Dignitas Academy. You got Lorlo in the top lane, Acadian in the jungle, the Monte on mid, Phoenix on bot. His support is Ole and their coach, Simon.
Well, as we mentioned, this is a battle at the top of the standings, and for Cloud9, it felt like we weren't going to get there in the opening weeks of the season, but they have rallied to become the number 2 team in the league.
They almost always do get there in the end, Cloud9, and I think a big part of it has come from a general sense that every player has been stepping up. I think Inori in particular has been pretty good, just being a veteran for the team. And usually in the academy teams, you want somebody with the experience to just tell you what to do. And sometimes, even if the decision might be incorrect, as long as everybody backs it up, it makes the play that much stronger. And I think that's what Cloud9 has really been banking on these last few weeks.
I mean, they've always had talented players, but it does feel like that consistency was a little lacking. So it is nice to see that kind of flatten out a little bit more. But the matchup that I think is most exciting in here is actually the bot lane. It's King, a multi-time OPL champion, versus Phoenix, newly role swapped stick AD, and looking very good after the change.
He looks so good, and I'm so glad it's the featured matchup because Phoenix was saying that he outplays every other AD with only 10% of his brain power. I mean, King is an OPL champion. Can you outplay somebody that has clearly shown results using only 10% of your brain, Pastry?
Well, in the early weeks of the split, I would have said yes, because one of the reasons C9 did not look very good in the early weeks was King was not playing very well, but he has played exceptionally well in recent weeks, and that's one of the reasons why the bot lane matchup is so exciting. And even though Dignitas are looking so strong, they have lost a couple of times, and those losses do not look good.
Yeah, and I think King looks better because the marksman meta is getting a little bit more solidified, but here we're going to take a look at the first loss to Dignitas, where Golden Guardians was just having a really solid game.
Yeah, I mean, the draft here for Golden Guardians just felt like once it hit a certain point, Dig didn't really have any way to win a team fight.
This was before we started acknowledging that Ornn needed to be a near permaban. So they got away with it, and
then this happened.
Back.
And then this is the TLA loss, which is pretty shocking given TLA's shaky record at the time. But they go for this Baron, they get forced off, and Tactical just straight up TPs and ends the game.
Yeah, and Cow with a giant hero play too, with the 3-man ultimate as well as the Q, and then even gives love tap to the Syndra. Such a good play from the support, splitting up the bot lane to take the win from Dignitas' hands.
So it feels like the question is, are teams improving or are Dignitas losing? Are they getting worse? I feel like those two losses feel like errors in judgment in different ways, right? The draft, you just didn't kind of consider that you drafted all AP and Ornn was open, and as you said, at the time, Ornn wasn't nearly at the same status as he was earlier, but you just kind of had to ban it. And against TLA, like, they just forgot or something, right? They just didn't do the homework, they didn't have the bot lane pushed out, they went for the Baron with the bottom of the map right open and got punished for it.
I mean, I think against TLA, it almost felt like TLA was just feigning weakness because they looked lost when it came to deciding Baron, Dragon. They chose none, and then Dignitas was just taking, we'll take the Dragon, we'll take the Baron too. Turns out TLA had the
Dragon Soul, and they still lost the game, which does not happen very often. So Dignitas still looking fine since that point.
You did say whether Dignitas is getting worse or teams are getting better, and I think what's happening is that the patches are getting figured out. Teams are starting to understand what they need to be drafting for themselves, what the opponents are drafting, and how those champions factor into their wins. And so now that the other teams have those playbooks to go off of, they can attack Dignitas with a much more concise game plan. And as a result, we see Dignitas suffering 2 losses.
Well, this is certainly a big test for both these teams. I think this will tell us, is this league still just Dignitas beating everyone? Or is there another real threat, for the title here in Cloud9? Battle for first and second is always exciting. And pretty interesting bans so far. We've had Yuumi and Ornn banned by Cloud9, which seems very responsible. Aphelios and Rek'Sai also fine on the Dig side, but Soraka, despite the nerfs in 10-4.
That's trolling. Okay, I spoke to Huni yesterday. He was also surprised to see that Soraka was getting banned in 10.4. 10.4 specifically removed her as a solo laner and put her back into the support spot. So unless they don't want to deal with support Soraka, but that's not a pick that ever made waves in competitive, at least in the current iteration.
Well, Senna was banned last by Dig, so they gave over Set, but they will take Zoe and Tahm Kench.
Oh boy, another poke comp. That's what it is, right? You've got the Tahm Kench to either protect the Ezreal or the Varus that we've seen be played as a poke champion. So Dignitas already committing to a style with these two picks, and Cloud9 can start drafting to defend it. Champions like Gragas would be really strong here to not only deny the possibility of Acadian contributing to the poke and disengage, but to also have a tool to chuck the Tahm Kench in once he's devoured.
Jungle will actually fall pretty far down in a lot of drafts, and it looks like for Cloud9 that will be true here as well, as Powerfox has decided he wants the Syndra. Nice and early is his preferred counter pick of choice to the Zoe. I have seen this matchup a lot. I understand why players are picking Syndra into Zoe, but I feel like Zoe is just so good at ignoring you and farming the wave that Syndra can't ever actually do her job, which is kill the Zoe before she gets out of hand.
Yeah, it's kind of the idea behind the Sigs into, say, an Azir. You just outrange it. And so Zoe continues to outrange Syndra, which makes her job of bursting down short-range champions a lot harder. And they know that they're getting outranged, so the bans are coming through on the poke champions that would complement Dignitas' composition. Varus, and I'm expecting an Ezreal as well.
I like this Thresh ban as well, not just because Diamond is a good Thresh player, but King is a very aggressive bot laner, and that Dark Passage is a really good tool for bailing him out of trouble. Has a Blitzcrank ban as well away from Diamond. He's going to have to fall down to Nautilus at this rate, as Aatrox was the last pick as well for Dig, so going to go over to Lola, which we've seen also time and time again.
They definitely don't mind playing against Nautilus because you can always devour during the depth charge, so you can get rid of that ultimate altogether. And there's the Ezreal ban out of Cloud9. Let's see if Dignitas commits to poke here.
J4 though, going to take a nice stable jungler, and they do want first pick at that pool, with no jungler taken on the Cloud9 side, but Ikanori hasn't really been attacked too much as far as jungle goes. In fact, only one jungle ban with the Rek'Sai, so has his pick of whatever is left. Olaf kind of blocked here by the J4, so maybe not going to see that one.
Yeah, Olaf against Zoe just sounds like a really rough matchup, so he can just walk away from you, really.
Diana.
That's Diana jungle.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's actually one of the champions that I was hoping we would see on 10.4. She got her attack speed buffed against monsters. And so, sorry, the passive damage from the attack, not just the attack speed. So that will make her clear a lot faster. And what ends up happening is that you get that runic echoes and you start power farming much faster than anybody else, which can make the jungler a valid threat. But it's just a matter of how much is Inori balancing farming versus actually contributing into a fight, because her ganks are powerful. She does have that dash early on, and when you have your ultimate, you are crazy tanky too.
It's also nice to see Inori changing things up. To be fair, he has played actually a pretty diverse set of champions, but I did want to note that, of course, Cloud9 Academy's new coach for this season is Rainover, with Westwise moving up, and half of the champions Inori have played. To be fair, it's 5 Rek'Sai games and 1 Olaf, but those are very classic Rainover champions.
Yeah, I mean, no surprises.
Learning from the best.
Rainover wants you to play Rek'Sai. The Tremor Sense is such a powerful tool. Pastry, I think we might have overlooked a very specific thing that happened in the bottom lane for Dignitas.
I did see Cassio. I did forget Zoe existed. So that is a mate for Phoenix in the bot lane.
It is Zoe. He's playing Zoe bot. He kept saying that Marksman was too easy for him, and now he's going to take the Mage up against King. Let's see if he delivers, because Mages in the bot lane either look amazing or look like something that should have been kept in normal games.
This is certainly something you would expect a player like Phoenix to bring to the table, right? I think when you swap a mid laner to bottom, yes, they should be willing to play Marksman, but one of your strengths should be that you can play a wider pool of champions in this lane.
Yeah, and that always makes your red side even deadlier because guarantee you that Cloud9 did not expect that this was going to be a mage in the bottom lane. And there's a good chance that if you're not practiced against it, you can die. And once you start getting snowballed on by a mage, you're an AD. You don't have much of a chance. The utility is too high to fight with sheer damage.
I do also appreciate Diamond's consistency as a player. Got Thresh and Blitzcrank banned away from him and did take Nautilus as the support that was open to him. So certainly lining up all those hooks is our final two Academy teams for their week. We'll move out onto Summoner's Rift, which is still looking beautiful as ever. But Phoenix on the Casio versus this MF. First thing that comes to mind is ulting is going to be a real challenge for this MF.
Yeah, I mean, you're really just trying to get two people, I guess, at this point, because hoping that all 5 Dig members group up for you is a pipe dream here. And I think Miss Fortune can actually use her positioning as a bait, because a lot of the times people just want to dive MF, prevent her from having a good ultimate. If you've got champions like Diana Jungle and a Syndra, they can quietly carry a team fight while the enemy is distracted with the marksman.
That's true. You also cannot forget that there is something different on the Cloud9 side as well. Have to see how the Conqueror jungle there for Inori works out on Diana, as Acadian also Conqueror there on the J4. This is just spamming away outside his red as Palafox and Demonte of an early meeting. Electrocute proc there for Pala. The Airy doing some damage back as well for Demonte, as he will be first to the wave.
Demonte has Summoner advantage in a just auto attack 1v1. It happens a lot in solo queue games where you're just like, you know what, let's go 1v1 me, let's see who has the better stats. Well, when you count the Summoner spells, Demonte has the winning edge.
I feel like that's almost never a good idea, because
if your champion does have the winning edge, it is a good idea.
Yeah, so that makes sense. But I feel like if you opt into that 1v1, like, why? Because I feel like only one champion ever wins that battle.
Exactly.
So why didn't the other person just not do it?
It's a pride thing. And or sometimes it's a matter of not knowing the limits of your champion as well. And so you're trying to see if you can actually win that trade. And winning the trade early could let you have complete dominance of the lane. You're really just playing for the entire lane in the first minute. It's not something that everybody wants to do, but it's a valid strategy.
It's fair. And if you did want to preview, or a microcosm, I suppose, of how Zoe vs Syndra works, you basically saw it there in mid. Palafox and Proc Electrocute again. Had done a significant amount of damage to Demonte, and Zoe just pushed the wave in and ignored the Syndra for as long as she could. And now chasing him away with bubbles as well. I mean, again, I certainly see how this matchup can be favorable, but I feel like Zoe wins more often than she should, given how frequently Syndra is counterpicked into Zoe. So we'll see how it works out.
I personally prefer having the Zoe on my side.
Oh, absolutely.
It contributes more to the jungle 2v2. Just being able to get pushed in and still either have a Sleepy Trouble Bubble or a Paddle Star. Here comes a gank onto Fudge. Has a good stun, though.
Face breaker, pulling two together. Haymaker also going to buy time for Inori, who's up here, ready to go onto Acadian. Remember, has that dash much earlier now. Going to burn another summoner. Actually gets 2 flashes in the top lane.
Yeah, Diana Jungle is no joke. This is a champion that will mess you up. And now that you have the flash advantage and Scuttle Crab top against Acadian, Nori's got to be feeling really confident here that he's going to be able to build up a CS lead and carry a game from the jungle, something that is so rare in just the damage department.
King trying to dance around all the potential skill shots here, but does get the wave pushed back in the right direction. CS is even right now, as a good double up did land onto Phoenix. Let's see, early on, Casio is able to push the wave, but it does seem like MF returning to her kind of regularly scheduled lane dominance, at least for now.
And that lane dominance is, so much of it is actually hidden in her movement, in her ability to get back to lane quickly or roam around from bot to mid faster than any other marksman. And it makes it so that even if you lose lane, whether it's by dying or not CSing well, you're just there more often, so you're almost always having equal experience, which is a really big deal, as the experience gets you that level 6, and that's really all you want out of your Miss Fortune. You're not interested in her crits, you're interested in her R.
You can see Both mid laners have backed. But Demonte is continuing to keep up the pressure in the 1v1 as a slight CS lead, but more importantly, is the first to roam down here. What a great bubble in onto King. Diamond going to try and block, does get the hook down. Miasma could spell death. King low, but not out. And now Diamond going to chase it back down. Here comes Fudge. Olay will devour Phoenix. Facebreaker doesn't quite grab him, but Diamond over the top is going to look for it. And here comes Inori as well, dashing through the lane. First blood to Diana. And maybe make it two as Demonte is down here, but Acadian finally ready to answer. Diamond does find the hook, but Inori is long. Will fall to Acadian. Pale Cascade back up the shield. Procs, but not enough to save him. Still, Palafox and Fudge find the next kill and make it 3 as Acadian falls as well.
Oh man, that was such a big fight. It felt like everybody was involved down there. Only Lorlo is alone in the top lane, hoping that he got an invite. But my friend, you did get invited. You just did not RSVP to the party.
He threw it in the trash. He only TP'd the lane, Crumbs.
Exactly. You chose not to go. They asked you to go, and you told them that you had more important matters taking place in the top lane. So it all starts from a good roam from the mid lane, what you want out of your mid laner, but the TP there is huge, you're set, and such a beautiful stun there too. Misfortune, sorry, Zoe was actually the collateral damage of that face break.
And again, Olay zoned out, Palafox finally roaming back down, and it feels like Acadian can turn this around, but Inori lived for so long here.
Yeah, I mean, he's running Conquer, so he's going to be healing from all the damage that he's dealing. And because you have those stacks getting to 10 so quickly, you're pretty much healing the second you jump an opponent, which makes you tankier than you might look, because the itemization does not tell you that you're going to be a hard champion to kill. Side note, it's why Garen's so good as well. You can actually hit 10 stacks of Conquer in one spin.
1,200 gold ahead for Cloud9 here in the early game, which is pretty significant, as Inori is going to try and smash down this Drake ASAP. Acadian, though, on the other side is going to get mapped by Fudge, who is level 6, and that will be enough to chase him off the crab for now. Fudge going to try and keep it away. Haymaker down. Acadian, though, pokes it with the lance. Did not have to use the smite. But Fudge, running enough interference at Cloud9 Academy, can finish that Drake safely.
Yeah, that's a big dragon to take, having those lower times on your ultimates. And this is a completely ult-reliant composition out of Cloud9, so they are loving this one.
You also see that Palafox now with the Lost Chapter finished is starting to get a little bit more traction in the pushing battle in mid lane.
Here comes Inori for a repeat in the bottom lane. They'd likely have to go for Olay here. Here they go, but they know that they can't fight, so they're not going to step up. Diana should probably base, and he does.
Yeah, bullet time used, but not so bad as Blue Buff maybe attempted to be stolen here by Inori. Oh, it's actually Palafox, excuse me, but does not quite time it correctly. Did have a ward there, but I believe the blue was in the brush. And Olay now a little too far forward again. That's going to be a kill. King takes him down, and Phoenix, no, ulti! He's going to have his jungler down here, so Acadian now going to flash in onto King and try and take him out. King going to get dunked and taken out by Acadian, and Inori had left the scene a while ago, so Diamond going to be left out to dry as well. But maybe going to live here. In fact, yeah, Phoenix can't chase, so just a 1-for-1.
Yeah, they spare the Nautilus, but they have priority in the bottom lane. So now Phoenix gets to push up and start gaining some of that terrain back. Misfortune and Nautilus were being so aggressive. They are just glad that Jarvan got to go down there and punish that over-aggression.
Bubble is going to hit. Demonte going to try and steal the Swift Herald, but Inori will smite it away. It's just Poke instead that the Zoe is after. But Cloud9 do respond to Acadian being bottom with taking yet another objective for themselves. But I mean, Olay, I just don't know what he was thinking here.
Yeah, I mean, I think he thought that Nautilus had gone with Misfortune to the left because there's that control ward denying vision. So he assumed that the bot and support would stay together, but the nice split off from Diamond made it so that he had an angle on the Tom Kent, and it was enough to get a kill.
Good for Acadian being there, as Phoenix might have actually got killed as well. Certainly would not have been a trade without him. Did have to burn the flash. So all in all, I think a trade that Cloud9 will be happy to take. They still keep that gold lead nice and healthy. Up 1,000 with that Herald to drop as well. We'll see where Inori does want to give those additional plates to. It does seem like bottom lane is the obvious place to attack.
Yeah, and Inori is a huge player for Cloud9 right now. In most of Dignitas' wins, Acadian's almost always having a big impact early on, and this time around, Inori getting that counter gank into the top lane and then being at the bottom lane fight as well puts a big dent in Acadian's aggression. He has to start questioning himself if the plays that he's going for are getting mirrored by the Diana.
Well, King and Diamond trying to roam up here. Did not have enough time to get Acadian off that Scuttle Crab. But Inori still searching for a place to drop the Herald. Does have more than half of the cooldown left, so doesn't have to rush shore lane right this second.
It just looks fun playing Diana jungle. You're just farming away. You're a mage. You're an assassin. You've got dashes. You've got shields. Fun champion.
Certainly, it's great how such a small change made such a big difference. As Acadian zooming into mid lane, Powerfox going to be the target. Good stun, but Damonte can still chase here. Does not have a bubble though, so unable to throw it. Is Inori now lying in wait, but Damonte does not want to go through the fog of war.
Yeah, it's usually once you start chasing somebody for that long, you just feel like the enemy is running.
Ooh! Fudge making it happen, and Ori's here is why. Haymaker gonna land, Delolo gonna flash as well, as both top laners will trade their summoner.
That looked cute there, trying to get Lorelo punted back so that the Diana could combo in, but it's not going to be enough to get the plates down that they want before popping the Rift Herald. So Inori will have to think about this Rift Herald another time, whether you want some gold or you actually want a turret. Think fast, because those plates are leaving in 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, don't forget, as you just saw, Monday Night League is coming up after this. 5 p.m. PST, the show starts. CLG Immortals kick off for the first game at around 5:30.
We just saw their little brother teams, Academy, CLG, and Academy Immortals face off.
But the results will mirror. Immortals fans should feel a little scared.
My prediction says yes. My prediction says yes.
That CLG will win?
Yeah,
Oh.
I know, right? It took one win for me to think they've got it.
Did you base your prediction purely off today's Academy result?
No, it was off of yesterday's
okay.
Belter performance.
Well,
and Ruin.
I don't blame you, given how well those two players played. As attention continues to be paid down here to the bot lane, because Inori is ready with the surprise Herald.
Yeah, he does not want to wait. He just needs to get the plates in here because he wants to be looking to farm instead of looking to be in these lanes, just trying to help his team out. Diana does not need that much help. She just needs farm.
Nice though, 4 plates collected there for Cloud9 Academy, so good enough on that Herald, you have to think. Despite not getting the tower, and Palafox going to get collapsed on here. Lolo is ready, good flash from Pala. But Ole, again, a little too far forward, going to have to flash out himself as Budge is TP down. They're going to try and bite here as the exhaust was burnt very early onto King.
Okay, there are down summoners. I think this is a good stopwatch. He has to flash out.
Yeah, it's Inori, but he can't get out. Beautifully timed CC there for Dignitas. Just could not get out of the stasis.
Now Damonte has his onions. He might have solo carried this fight because now Dignitas is going to get this dragon and no one is there to either steal or even respond. One man saving Dignitas' hopes here because Ole has burned quite a bit there without anything to show for it.
Yeah, have to cost Fudge his TP as well, so now he's got a TP disadvantage versus Lolo. We'll clean up minions here in the bottom lane. While King is back, coming back from actually the top side, because maybe they'll be swapping here, at least temporarily.
Potentially thinking about the next Herald, looking to be in position for it instead of having to swap now that the bot lane turret is only at 1 plate. There's not a lot of gold in there. So if you're trying to pile gold onto your marksman, you're going to have a better time continuing to move them into the lanes that have more plates. And if you can get that first brick down too, then it's even more gold.
Seems like the Raptor camp is the more appropriate one here. And plates have now fallen off. But again, I think that second Herald, as you mentioned, is a good shot here for Cloud9 Academy. And it should be back up nice and soon.
And look at the route that Diana goes for. Bot to top so that he can end with his bottom lane.
Yeah, towards the Herald we go. And as another reminder, Monday Night League, 5 p.m. PST, Crumb.
If you forgot before, Monday Night League is there. I'm going to be there. Bud Light Elite Lounge right on after.
Crumb's debut.
Oh, boy. We got I think it's a power hour of 1-minute topics, 60 topics.
That's a lot of topics.
Right? I don't think I know that many topics.
Well, we'll find out. Bud Light League Land after Monday Night League. Don't miss it. King gonna step forward here and Try and fend off the incoming assault. Demonte and Acadian back at it again. But Honori's here with Diamond using a depth charge. Acadian diving back through. Showstopper. Big face breaker pullback. Demonte into the waiting arms of King as a nice ulti will spread across the Dignitas for the double. Gonna make it 3, triple kill over to the MF as Cloud9 Academy win that fight with aplomb.
I feel like clapping. That was such a good fight from Cloud9, and it was all pre-planned. This was not an accident that they have all 5 members ready to go here with Misfortune from a great angle in the top lane. We were talking about the setup. You get the bottom lane ready for the Herald play, the jungler starting bot so that you can finish in the top lane. And when Dignitas does not respect it, they are already there to dish out punishment.
And again, this is just such a... It's like honestly an elegant sequence of play here for Cloud9. Just had every spot red. They're going to pop the Herald mid after the push in, so they get their first tower actually of the game after already weakening top and bot. But this team fight just so well played.
And they don't know that Diana is here, so by the time they've engaged onto the Nautilus, they're thinking, wait a minute, we're outnumbered. Teleport is already too late as Lorelo gets in here while Demonte dies, and a beautiful ultimate there out of King. I mean, it's not going to get Phoenix and Lorelo, but it gets them to run away and abandon the rest of their team, which nets a 3-for-0, a Rift Herald, and a mid turret.
Yeah, I mean, starting to really pile on the advantages here at Cloud9 Academy. 3,000 gold ahead, including the tower lead and even on Drake's, with still more towers for them to take here. And once again, King 5-1-2, 450 extra gold is the bounty.
2,000 gold up on Cassiopeia as well, which is a pretty outrageous lead for 17 minutes into the game between bot laners.
It's actually absurd how differently King is playing. Like, he went from straight up, like, silly mistakes, like things that you would never expect a player like him to make, to just like, whether it's him or a team effort or a combination of both, just kind of carrying every game for Cloud9 Academy.
It's got to be that the time they've put in is just starting to flower. I mean, this is a new team, right? It was Reignover's debut on coach. Only Diamond was left. To expect that the roster was going to fire in all cylinders and everybody was going to be playing at their expected skill level, it was going to happen overnight. And so it looks like now that the playoff pressure is on and they're feeling confident with the results that they're getting, you got lots of players stepping up and feeling proud of how they're playing.
See Fudge stepping forward, starting to bully Lolo a little bit in the 1v1, and neither of them still have a completed item finish. It's Trinity Force being worked on there for Fudge and Black Cleaver on the side of Lolo. Also of note, you can see King's chair is still empty. He is continuing to play remote, so I don't know what his thing is, but it can't be exceptional. And he's still turning in games like this. Palafox in trouble, 1v3 under the tower. Not going to survive that one as Phoenix does get out. Thanks, Soleil.
Close. Close call. He still had the Serath, but he did not pop it, so he would have gone down had Olay
That was a trust fall.
not devoured.
Olay caught him.
I think those are some of the team exercises that a lot of teams like to do. They come in and say, all right, you guys, let's do some trust falls. Do you trust your jungler to get this smite?
Do you? You're a jungler. I guess you do then.
If I was jungling and I'd ever say, let's go for a 50-50, it's because I don't have faith that we are going to close out the game in another way. So I'm just saying, let's gamble it.
You know what? It's probably the right call in that instance. I respect it. Cloud9, their lead softens a little. Still back down to 3,000. They had grown it a little bit more, but Dig with a couple kills and taking the tower for themselves does give them more gold back into their coffers. Monte also working on mid, but King is there to catch the wave. And he is rapidly approaching a second completed item. Even stopped off for a Hex Drinker just to make DeMonte and Phoenix's life a bit more miserable.
Yeah, they've got the gold, yet the second completed items are not here yet. So I don't think they're going to pressure too hard with these current items, because you usually just want to take fights that you know you're going to win. And that's not to say you're doing those 80-20s, but you actually have to at least do the mental steps of how do we actually win this? And if you don't come up with a way of winning that, you don't go for it. I know it sounds basic, but it's actually some of the steps that a lot of teams fail to take. And when you have a game with so many variables, it's not a criticism to their inability. It's just a matter of fact of how many things you have to track in League of Legends.
And you could say in the early weeks of the season that Dignitas were far and away the best team at knowing those steps and knowing the basics because of the experience of their team. And Cloud9 Academy were not. They would absolutely make basic errors that it's not their level of play that's the problem, it's they're not together enough as a team, and that is so different now for this team as Fudge is getting 1v3 chased down and just walks away.
That wasn't a very threatening Tahm Kench ultimate, but at least you know that they're thinking about you.
I'm gonna have to try something here, but it's like Cloud9 Academy will just continue knocking down towers. They'll take out the mid-tier 2. So even more space for them to play with around this Baron area that may very well be the next objective they have in mind, although that top outer tower is pretty tempting as well.
And once they get that tier 1, they're really going to open up this red side of the map. I want to look at Diana's itemization and just kind of think about what Diana can do compared to the Jarvan with the Stone. Wait a minute.
Showstopper Phoenix in trouble, gonna get punched to pieces. As Fudge just saw the play. Phoenix burnt both sums and his ulti, and Fudge made it look easy as also the top lane outer tower will fall. Cloud9 Academy is starting to really work Dignitas here in this game, Crumbs.
Yeah, Dignitas does not look like the same team that was 9-0. This looks like a team that's just really having a hard time with the champions that Cloud9 is picking, which honestly, they're all kind of S-tier champions for the role that they're on right now.
I mean, I think both drafts are fine. I mean, Phoenix's Cassio is maybe the less standard pick, but Phoenix is a great Cassio player, so I can see the logic behind the pick.
I feel like the Tahm Kench so early made it too obvious for the composition that Dignitas wanted to go for, and then Cloud9 got to attack that composition, and so Dignitas had to pivot into something that doesn't look like it was their original plan. And it's not to say that their plan was bad, it's that Cloud9 spotted it and reacted accordingly, which made it a lot tougher for Dignitas, because I don't think this is a composition where you want Olay on a Tahm Kench. Like, what is he really protecting you from? You want something like, say, a Braum that can stop the Misfortune and the Syndra ultimate. That would be really valuable here.
Yeah, you wonder if maybe Lolo's pick 3 in the draft should have been the ADs they wanted.
Yeah, right. Could have locked in an Ezreal right away. You knew that Misfortune would have been taken. So I think they had some options to pivot back into what they wanted in the draft, but they didn't want to commit that early, hoping that C9 wouldn't sniff out the poke comp that was about to come.
Yep. Diamond, though, really worth his weight in this game. Again, showing why he got targeted in phase 2 of the draft.
Yeah.
Because even without Thresh or Blitzcrank, which I will say are significantly better hook champions than Nautilus, still making the Nautilus work.
Oh, I mean, I feel like they wanted him on this pick at this point, right? Because
a
you would have
bait.
banned Nautilus if you didn't, or instead of Blitzcrank.
Can't ban him all, Crumbs. I mean, his Blitz must be nasty or something. Because, like, Blitzcrank is a champion that if you ban Blitzcrank, the enemy support must be so good at Blitzcrank.
I know it. Blitzcrank, hook is iconic. That's his thing. I think his ultimate is really where the big value is at, where the sleeper OP thing, because a flash ultimate in a fight can disrupt any composition to a point where you can just flat out win because of that.
Well, Drake's continuing to be taken here for Cloud9 Academy. They haven't missed too many beats so far in this game. 3-1 now in Drake's. They'll be playing for the Mountain Soul in 5 minutes' time. But still the Baron to consider also.
So, what I was thinking about Diana and Jarvan
is
that these engaged champions from the jungle, whether it's Sejuani or Jarvan's, they're always rushing the stone play to buy time. Diana, she's not going stone play, but because Sonya's is a crucial part of your build, you're kind of fulfilling the same role, buying time, being able to engage without dying right away. So she's kind of like the Kennen of the top lane, where you're still zoning and generating space like a tank, but utilizing stasis to stay alive. And I think that's a really cool direction that we're seeing, that I'd like to see champions like Gragas take more interest in, as opposed to just a full-on poke. I think there's different ways of playing a lot of these roles right now, and I'm just glad that spring is finally the time where these compositions are being tested out.
Yeah, I think the Gragas comparison is a good one, because Gragases do build quite similarly, right? Despite the Cinderhawk buffs, and the buffs to Barmy Cinder on this patch, Gragas are still sticking to the AP builds that have been successful for them. I think the difference is kind of what we saw in the last game from Hard, in that he was in a decent spot and just could not like initiate a fight himself. He had to use his flash pretty much to get something started. Diana, more damage, less tanky certainly than a Gragas, but just so much easier to just see someone and immediately engage them.
And it's easier to not mess up as well, because a Gragas mistime ultimate can ruin the fight just as easily as it can win it. So it's a good comparison that you made there, because now I just want to go home and try it.
Well, I'm sure they'll see you this evening. Terrorizing Solo Cute with Jungle Diana. Cloud9 Academy still firm control of this game, up about 5,000 gold. Just, again, doing things nice and clinically. They've got Fudge, who has been an anchor in this side lane all game long. Just getting the waves pushed in and threatening whatever they can here. Looks like the tier 2 in top lane, maybe the next port of call, but that's kind of just a feint, an illusion, if you will, for the Baron that Cloud9 really want out of this exchange.
A big ruse there out of Cloud9, because they have their objectives just waiting. They're in the microwave. They're just chilling. They know that feasting time is about to happen. And unfortunately for Dignitas, they actually don't have very good vision to see what Cloud9 is doing. And I want to show that by looking at these wards. You know, they're way back here. When's the last time you saw Dignitas contest this side of the map when C9 continues to push past the river?
I mean, it's just a product of the game they're in. Dignitas are certainly struggling to get those wards down. Cloud9 has done a really good job of keeping their vision up. That is something that I feel like Cloud9 Academy were always good at. So clearly the coaching staff teaching their players well. I think Diamond, certainly part of the old system, has something to do with that as well. He's also the support, so I hope he's making sure his team is warding efficiently.
If your support is not taking responsibility for the warding, you've got some issues.
There are large issues at play in that particular instance. And
I would want a support that just feels proud about it. You know, you ask the team, who's doing the warding? I want the support to be, I'm doing all the warding. I'm looking out for vision. The control is like, who's doing dragons? I'm doing dragons. I'm doing timers. That kind of ownership about the role, I think, is really important when you're playing a team game. You need everybody to want to do their role to the best of their ability, and that just makes that team play so much sweeter to execute when everyone's firing on all cylinders.
I remember when it wasn't just the sport's job to lead the warding. Hold that thought. Diamond in the front side, going to initiate onto Acadian. He's going to be flashing out of there. Syndra ulti, though, does get burnt, and no kills yet on either side. Bubble, long range, does not connect.
They don't know Acadian is base. They only know that he's super low.
Cloud9 Academy, no. I mean, there's no objective down there that they care about, so they'll just push down mid instead.
Okay, so nothing to gain here. Dignitas just waiting for Acadian to come back, and they'll have another shot at taking these fights, but they're corralled into their blue buff jungle. This is good for Cloud9. They have complete agency on this side.
Nori gonna maybe be the target, but Demonte just over the wall. Lola gonna try and start it off. King is trapped under the tower, though. The big kills, they can get it, but no one can reach him in time, and Nori does finally fall. The showstopper there is gonna get the trade back onto Lolo. King still dancing around. What a massive double up there is gonna take down the Zoe. And Cloud9 Academy just navigate through a tricky fight and at least make it 2 for 2.
Wow, that was close. They have the track on mid lane, but they don't have jungle. It shouldn't matter because Jarvan also has to base. But I'm really curious to see that fight again, because it felt like we had 3 different fights. One in top, one in the blue buff, and then another one just in the middle of both of those team fights. Big mess.
Gotta go fast, they do get it, and now they're gonna get out. Make it rain there from King is gonna zone the rest of them off, and they'll channel recalls instantly. So that is the Mountain Soul for Cloud9 Academy.
So note in the top here how Acadian actually goes onto the Misfortune all by himself. There's no follow-up, and at least he's taking aggro, but that early use of Cataclysm without any follow-up means that Phoenix is just trying to dish out damage, really concerned about his life because there's no CC. It's only him, so he has to have Olay devour him. Otherwise, they all would have died.
And again, King just kind of stood on the tower, like, did a little dance.
Yeah.
And the Cataclysm was like, oh, I'm still alive. Keep shooting away.
Pew, pew, pew.
And a great double up there. poor Demonte's health bar just evaporated.
You can ask Kane, like, what'd you do in that fight? It's like, anyways, I just started blasting.
I don't know, I just clicked on people. It worked out. And that fight does give Cloud9 the soul, despite the fact their jungler was down. They just had enough presence to fall back and take the Drake on the way out. So it was almost an afterthought for me, but that is actually the fourth Drake for Cloud9 Academy.
Oh, wait, yeah, that's actually...
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a big deal.
Mountain Soul now up. Their front liners will be even tankier now. In fact, everyone's going to have additional benefits there with that shield.
It makes items like Stone Plate so much nastier. And when you add to that the fact that Cloud9 is actually building resistances in a lot of their carries, they're getting so much value out of this, and it makes Demonte's job so much harder because now Zoe's not going to one-shot anyone.
Good stun, but Palafox will force the Devour. I like it on the the bruises as well here. Both Diana and Set aren't true tanks at all, but they are the frontliners for Cloud9 in this comp.
I would consider Set a true tank.
Yep.
Just because his numbers are crazy.
Okay, I can see that. Diamond starting things off again. Depth charge on the Cassio. King gonna make him pay. See you later as he's unstoppable. As Lolo has tried to find the deep TP flank, but it's far too late for that play. Demonte onto King, but just doesn't have enough gas in the tank. That's the weakest Zoe bubble combo I've seen all day.
It took 2 seconds for him to be back at full, and with the Mountain Shield again, a hard game for the Zoe.
Yep, and Nori just running interference. It's gonna be Cloud9 busting through the front door, and Nori is gonna die. Diamond now tanking Acadian and Demonte. They're sticking together. Drowsy again for the MF, making it rain onto Acadian. Still fine though. Oh goodness, Acadian no. Gets out of there. He knows what trouble is afoot. As Lolo gonna pull back Fudge, but Acadian's just trying to get out of there.
And King just wants blood. If they had a chance to take down Nexus,
Look at Juggernaut MF.
they want Jarvan, they want more, and they don't want to end the game. What's winning if but a way to stop playing Pastry?
Another bubble, but it just doesn't feel like it matters. Okay, this time King gets out of there. He's gonna QSS it off. Fight gonna stop, but Phoenix does get the trade kill in onto Fudge, and Cloud9 finally gonna lose a team fight, maybe? King is just unstoppable. He's the real bruiser of the squad. Phoenix with the ulti, that's gonna be finally the shutdown over to Tom Kench of all champions. 1,000 extra gold to the Frog. As Palafox will die as well. Dignitas finally come up big in a team fight.
4 people dead. I think Dignitas can actually go to Baron here. They have a Cassiopeia with Leandries. They might have just bought back another lead on this game. What in the world? Cloud9 had a way to end the game.
Instead, they get too greedy, and now Inori is going to have to maybe try and find the steal, but I think Ole is going to keep him out of there, and it's just not worth it. Cloud9 already suffered way more losses than they signed up for in the front of the base. But that gold lead shrunk. Dignitas basically even up the game.
The Misfortune was so ahead. She had a bounty that died and still had a bounty. This was the bubble that really got everything done because the QSS was no longer there, which meant that when Phoenix got the Petrifying Gaze, King could not auto himself back to full HP.
Yes. This step forward is the egregious one.
I mean, I also think the one where he went after Acadian with the bullet time was a little ambitious, but hey, you've got the Dragon Soul, you've got Mountain Soul out of all souls available, so I think that they're still in a pretty good spot. It's just that you never want to be in a position where you've given the enemy a way to deter your pressure when you're ahead. That just gives them a chance to come back.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dignitas have done a great job recovering so much of the gold that had fallen behind in. I mean, I could see why Cloud9 wanted to do what they did. Like, MF looked like she just couldn't lose a team fight at that point.
Yeah.
And I don't even mind Fudge set ulting to just try and win that fight. Because if they win that fight, they end the game immediately.
Yeah.
But they still had time to walk away and didn't.
And they still had time to take the Nexus turrets before the fight even happened. They might have just asked themselves, we can't lose a fight, but what would a fight that is lost look like?
Another great showstopper there from Fudge. Gonna find 3 with the face breaker. Cataclysm in though. Also out from King, but he will get interrupted just near the end. Lolo, though, forced away. He will flash out, but he does live through the assault. 30 seconds till the Elder Dragon is up. That will be what Cloud9 are playing for.
No one died in that, but you did get some pretty important flashes. The Aatrox not having one is a big deal. His flash, last tick of Q, pretty big team fight.
stun lands. Diamond again with the hook. Ole gonna be the target. But plenty of health there. Zenori also gonna get poked down a bit by this Zoe. 5 seconds now till the Elder Dragon is up. They're gonna have to fight fair here if they do want to fight for this dragon. But the Baron Minions is still there for Dignitas. They are going to move into the pit though, and Cloud9 already starting the objective.
They see it. Scryers is popped. Here we go. They're through the choke.
Monte again finds a Drowsy, but it's only onto Fudge. And Nori going to try and tank it up for as long as he can. Still, DeMonte with the poke. It is so tough to do this with a Zoe peppering you with poke.
Look at Acadian. He's looking for a flank.
Going to be a 50-50. Fudge low again. I mean, again, if Dig get... Oh, actually, it is the Elder Dragon. Never mind. It's Steelball on both sides the same way. And Ori in. Acadian, they're going to try and finish it up. Fudge is in there. Who's going to get it? It's Phoenix. Elder Dragon over to Dignitas. Cloud9. They are going to keep fighting, but I just don't think they can finish this off. King, he's going to run away. He's dodging Lolo's Qs as best he can. He's actually fighting it, almost winning. King flashing out. Life steals back up again. Still fighting Acadian, though, with the help of Lolo. Is going to find the shutdown. 3 left for Dig. Ole going to chase down Fudge, who does not have Flash. This is going to be the ace, and the game may very well have been handed to Dignitas.
Oh my god, they actually won that fight. They got Baron, and then they got Elder. DeMonte just hard carried the beginning of that, doing so much poke, keeping him on the back. But then it was actually Phoenix who gets the dragon. Like, how did he end up with this objective? Is he just eating it down? Because DeMonte's doing so much here. Diana is in Zanya, so he actually opts out of going for Smite. Big misplay there out of Inori.
And still, somehow, this fight lasts so long.
At this point, without healing reduction, Lorlo can just tank King forever. I mean, he has level 16. The increased healing is there on his ult, so it's a tough world for Misfortune.
I mean, King kind of felt the same way, right? He's like, I got the
Yeah.
Bloodthirster. You can't kill me. With enough help, though, and the Elder Dragon also at the end, King does fall down.
We got ourselves a game.
Yeah, this is getting awfully close.
Look at the gold. Dig is ahead now.
I think we're going to have to start ignoring gold as a metric for who is ahead in this game, because there's just been so many back and forths.
That's fair.
Feels like we're kind of flattened on gold as a lead.
Yeah, at this point, everybody's on near full build, if not already, with everything they need. So gold matters less. It's always a fun number to look at.
And it's such an interesting game because this is the spot we haven't really seen Dignitas be in before. Having to win a game from behind and doing so successfully so far.
Yeah.
I mean, against Golden Guardians, they just fell behind and couldn't get back ahead.
And it didn't feel like they were being proactive until Cloud9 did that little bit of a throw in the base, and then they started believing, wait a minute, we can actually win this. What does a win fight look like? They've realized the win needs to start with DeMonte landing a ton of poke beforehand, because the engage of Cloud9, while it can be really tough, with a Zoe in your face, you're actually not going to be able to lock her down. She will whittle you down and prep you for everybody else to finish you off.
Again, when the fights are long, like, Cassio is a very serviceable damage dealer in the late game.
You can say that again.
So should be able to match King as far as damage output goes, although it is a different damage type. Drowsy on the front line, Diamond away, bullet time for coverage. As King knows he needed to protect his support player. Inori, though, has found DeMonte. That's a very key kill if they can get it, but now Inori left alone. Diamond forced to flash out, Inori still dancing around, but what a stun! Landing in there as the showstopper trying to pull them back in. They take down Lolo. DeMonte's still low, but they can't finish off the job just yet. DeMonte out, Acadian gonna dunk King. But it is still chasing Inori, trying to keep the Zoe out of the fight. Acadian low, almost dead. Will finally fall. No, Acadian's still gonna live. But Cloud9, they get the pick. It's 5v4 for 40 seconds.
They only get one member, but it's enough for them to go for an inhibitor. They're going to stop the force and end the game.
They're going to cancel. Again, around the side, Palafox flashing in. But Phoenix is fighting his way out of the corner. Palafox is here, Inori out as well. Phoenix has to be careful. King is trying to run it down mid, but DeMonte's there to protect the base. Good double stun again from Palafox, though. Phoenix low, he needs to live here. Gonna try and fight Inori here again. Cassio versus Diana, 1v1 is good. Phoenix able to get that kill happening, but King almost got it onto DeMonte. The Make It Rain not gonna connect. The QSS for extra move speed not there, but the base is open. Fudge is here, and that's gonna be it. Cloud9 almost threw it all away.
Oh, and Nori in deep thoughts, thinking, what was that game? But it ends in an all too familiar way for Cloud9. Misfortune, single-handedly batting away at the Nexus. That's going to be a meme that Dignitas will have to relive a few more times, sadly.
Yeah. You know, I expected King to have a good game and carry after his early game. That was not what I meant. But a very close game between these two teams. Dignitas with so much grit to hang in that game. When they finally realized that they could take the game back, they got very close to doing so. I think Cloud9 will look back and say, yeah, we maybe made a couple mistakes we shouldn't have made there. But a fun one, certainly.
Yeah.
Cloud9 defeat the first place team.
I think Dignitas just was a little unfamiliar with how to play with the bot lane mage. The item spikes are very different. You don't have sieging as a way to just have a play in your book. You have to actually think about side lanes and team fights so much more, which played right into Cloud9's hands.
All right, well, we'll break down the game more, but we need a break. We're going to go over the win after this commercial break. Welcome back. It's time to break down what was quite a fun affair, Crumbs, between Cloud9 and Dignitas Academy.
It really was. We got to see Cloud9 dominate all the way till the end until Dignitas' veteran grit just came back and almost got a comeback win.
But it was certainly a game filled of highlights. Let's take a look at this sequence here.
Yeah, this was after Cloud9 was getting pretty far ahead. They get a good win that turns into their Mountain Soul, but it turns out it wasn't even enough because this is Dignitas mounting their comeback defense.
This is when they realize that, hey, maybe we can actually win this game. It looks, okay to start. trading back and forth. King trying to get the kill into Demonte. But then this happens.
Yeah, great petrifying gaze. Just milliseconds catching Misfortune, turning around. She was almost like at an angle to the petrifying gaze, but if you know anything about human sight, you've got a 220-degree field of vision. Medusas will catch you.
And again, this one where Cloud9 could not decide between finishing the dragon and going for the fight. They go for the fight, and Cadian sneaks in. They manage to take the Elder Dragon, and now Cloud9 look like they're in real trouble.
Yeah, the Elder is just so powerful here, especially with a champion like Aatrox. I mean, look at him on this side. He's up against a full AD Misfortune, but he's healing for about 400 with every auto.
And that fight looked like it wasn't going to end if Cadian didn't, get involved.
Lifesteal Tanks is the tank of 2020.
Juggernaut MF coming to solo queue near you as the ace is completed, and finally Cloud9 like, wait a second. We win a fight around objective, and King's like, all right, I'm out. You guys do whatever you want to do. I'm going to finish this game.
Yeah, they wanted to stop the ports against Dignitas, knowing that it's a way to beat this team, as Tactical had done it just last week. But even though it was a backdoor win, it felt like Cloud9 would have been able to close it off of the result of that team fight.
Yep. TP in as well, just to make sure the game can end. And King not even trying to kill Demonte there, knowing that he's tanky enough with the Mountain Soul. And look at the roller coaster we went on there, Crumbs. Dig lose that game up 3,000 gold.
That feels bad. That is a rare occasion, too. There's a handful of games in League of Legends where you actually lose with a deficit. We can throw this one in. But another impressive statistic is the damage that Misfortune dealt.
Absurd.
41K.
That, I mean,
more than mid and bot of Dignitas combined.
That's more than 1,000 damage a minute.
Yeah.
Doing that math correctly. I mean, we talked about King carrying. That was another performance. He may have overstepped his boundaries in certain areas, but in general, a very strong game.
If he delivers that damage, you can kind of accept that sometimes you'll overstep because of what he's delivering when he's not.
That's how he did it. He played risky, and it paid off. As we wrap out the day, let's see how the teams stack up. It's getting real interesting in the standings here, Crumbs. Dignitas and Cloud9 still up towards the top at 9 and 3 and 8 and 4 respectively, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-way tie for third. With 6 teams at 6 and 6.
Oh, it's great. I mean, you could say that you're in third place for an 8th place team, but it feels even weirder for FlyQuest, who's just one loss behind,
really,
but
guys?
9th place, right? So it really feels like this is a completely up in the air playoff run at this point, which makes it even more interesting because every win really matters, and every loss against a team that is technically lower than you hurts even more.
Yeah, it can be a really fun back half of the season, and we've got more league action coming up as well. During the break, hop on over to twitch.tv/LCS for Monday Night League, where Tigris and the gang bring you the LCS matches of the week, all before the Bud Light League Lounge, which Crumbs will feature in.
Yeah,
first time ever.
Yeah, but the stars are Huni and Frog.
Huni and Frog are there too.
People want to watch Huni and Frog and some buds, having some buds. Great game. Great show.
Should be a fun evening as the league action continues, but that does it for us here over on Academy. Catch you for Monday Night League very shortly.